What is up? Coach Tom here. We are approaching the end of 2023. I can't believe it's already here. November, December, they are blowing right by us, and I want to talk about January. This is for all you current gym goers, all you current fitness people. This one is called Watch Your Face. Watch your face when you go into the gym. Watch the mentality you bring, or watch the image that you give off when you're in the gym. I know we're angry, we're meatheads, I am the alpha, I am the king. It's not the time, January, to get frustrated with the crowded gym. You once walked into a crowded gym. You were once scared to walk into a crowded gym. I don't care who you were, but you were nervous going in there. And there's going to be thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people in January that take that first step through those gym doors, and they're going to see your ugly, mean face, and they're not going to want to work out. And they're like, this place is intimidating. Open arms. Welcome in the new community. I'm going to dive right into a full video on this. You can check it out on my YouTube. Jump over there if you want to see the full video, and we're going to dive right in to my little story about why I need to get rid of my ugly face. So if you're just coming here from Instagram, maybe you saw the front end of this video, but this is, we're going to dive into a great conversation and then a real eye-opener that I had the other day on something I was not aware I was doing, and it's something I've been doing for years. So a little backstory, I've been in my current area where, my wife and I live now. I've been in this area for about 5 years working out in gyms. And the gym I was going to, Crunch Fitness, big, a lot of meatheads up in there. I fit right in. It was great. I loved it. It's a little too crowded with college kids now. So I am, if you don't know me, I'm a personal trainer. I'm a nutrition coach, and I'm constantly watching what other people do. I'm eyeballing. I'm, always looking for something new, always looking for somewhere to learn. And with that, as a coach also, and a group fitness coach, my job is to watch people. And my job is to, remember faces. I don't really forget faces. It's very rare. I'll have members I haven't seen for 4 or 5 years come into the studio. I'm like, oh my God, how you been? And I'll remember things that they'll never expect me to remember. It's just one of my small gifts that I have in this life. And, there was this dude in the gym, and I always noticed him. He had great arms, great. I'm like, that guy's got good arms. Like, I want to watch and see what he's doing. So I noticed him. We never spoke. 5 years that I was going to that gym. Eventually he disappeared. I did not see him. I did not see him for quite some time until about 2 months ago when my wife and I joined a gym together. We found a gym. She couldn't deal with the crowds at the other gym and a lot of high school kids with the tripods on the phone. I don't blame her. It was, constantly more filming than it was working. So it did get, I had to go at certain hours to actually enjoy my workout. And we joined up at this new gym together. It's great. It's spacious. There's private areas where you can, you can squat, you can deadlift, and you're not among the masses, or you can be among the masses if you want and hit, the large dumbbell rack. But there's options for pretty much everything you want to do. It's been great. But jumping back into the story is I see this guy, when I probably a week or two in, I'm like, oh, he's a personal trainer here now. That explains where he disappeared off to. Great. But never said a word to him up until, and this is 5 years we had never spoken. Up until today is Thursday, up until, I want to say it was Tuesday. Up until Tuesday, never said a word to this guy. And he walks over, he taps me on the shoulder, and why's this guy annoying me while I'm working out? Why is he annoying me while I'm working out? Come on now. Taps me on the shoulder and he goes, dude, I got to ask you a question. And I wiped this stupid mentality and stupid attitude off my face, and he's like, you're in really great shape. He goes, I gotta ask, why do you always look pissed off? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, you always look like you're ready for war, you're angry, and I didn't have an answer at that point in time, and there's no right answer for that. Like, we'll dive into how I started thinking later on, but I didn't have an answer, and I'm like, usually it's just, I really get into the music while I work out, and nine times out of 10, you're going to find Foo Fighters on my playlist. Foo Fighters amps me up. My two top songs, All My Life and Run. Those two songs just jack me up for a workout. I get amped up, they let that rage out. But I mean, if we look into other, artists on my playlist, you've got Rage Against the Machine, you've got Metallica, you've got, a lot of just hard rock, and then like angrier hip hop. Like you've got your Eminem where, you're angry, and you got Rick Ross, not so angry, but kind of angry sometimes, and usually angry music. And I get into the music. I try to, when I work out, everybody say, "Hey, Coda." I try to go into a flow state, and I try to just absorb the music and like get in that zone. We'll lock this on me so you don't have to look at Coda. But I get into that zone and I don't realize. And this is what I'm telling them, man. Like Foo Fighters, you go into my Spotify spot. We got 2 months till the new year. Spotify is going to tell you top song of the year, and for the 4th year in a row, it's going to be All My Life by Foo Fighters. You can hold me to that. On January 1st, I will share that, and you're going to see, oh my God, this guy is still playing the same song. It's got to have been played on my phone like 500,000 times. I can listen to it on repeat for a whole workout. But yeah, I get it. So the guy said, I'm like, dude, to be honest, like, I really just think I get into the music. Like, I'm listening to Foo Fighters. I'm listening to Eminem. I'm listening to Metallica. I'm listening to, like, angrier songs, and I try to take that with me. And we ended up talking for 10, 15 minutes. And, like, he was a really cool dude. And introduced himself. His name's Jason. And, yeah, we talked for, like, 10, 15 minutes. And we start sharing, like, training philosophies. He's telling me what he's doing on his arms right now, this newer method he was trying out that he heard from, I forgot who he heard it from. But I was like, oh, man, that sounds really great. I ended up trying it like 5 minutes later. I'm like, that is brutal. Thank you, brother. And, I started telling him about my current split. He's telling me about his 680 pounds. And I'm like, man, what a great dude. And, like, I could have probably ended up, if I didn't have to get somewhere, I could have ended up talking to the guy for an hour just because we share that like-minded, like that brotherhood of fitness and that love of health and the human body and all that fun. Like, the conversation could have kept going. I should have just given the guy my number. Like, yeah, bro, let's get a coffee and let's mind map. Like, we can have this conversation for a long time. But I left the gym, and that's, now you're in your quiet time. Now's when you're going to start taking a look in the mirror. And I'm like, it's not just the music. And I started, you gotta be willing to look in the mirror. I'm always willing to look in the mirror in the gym. I never met a mirror I didn't like. So you got to look in the mirror. And I was like, what? Why is that? I do look pissed off. And if you look at me now talking fitness, I don't look pissed off? Leave it in the comments if I look pissed off. But I'm constantly like mean mugging. Like I'm trying to start something. I don't want to start. I'm like the gentlest teddy bear. I don't want to start something. So I started like just jotting down in my head like reasons. And first thing that came to mind was like I try to maintain this mentality that when I walk in there, it is all business. This is my passion. I'm gonna put 100% of my energy into and 100% of my effort into destroying these weights. And this is my hour of the day. And I'm going to be ultra focused. And I'm going to be in that zone. And I'm going to war. Not with a person, maybe this person, but I'm going to war with these weights. I'm gonna lift more than I lifted yesterday. I'm gonna do one more rep. I'm gonna do 10 more pounds, 5 more pounds, 2.5 more pounds. I'm gonna out-train the me that walked in here yesterday. And it's always a mental war, me versus me. And I think that conveys on my face, and I didn't realize it. And that's, eye-opening. And then I also started, like, I'm looking, and again, throughout the day, I spent the next 22 hours really, really just processing, like, why did I do that? And I also look at, like, my inspirations, like, outside of my dad who, got me into this, and I wish I had listened to him sooner. Let's see if he's listening 9 minutes in. And I've told him this 1,000 times. I wish I had listened to him sooner when he tried getting me into working out, but it just wasn't my bag at the time, and I didn't start until I was 21, 22 years old, so I'm a late bloomer in the game, I guess you could say, but not as late as some. It's never too late to start. He got me into Arnold Schwarzenegger, man. I was born in 1985. Born in 85, Terminator 2, Commando, Predator. Like, you see these big bulging biceps, and listen to some of the things. It's like it's like walking a cheetah. He uses his muscles as a conversation. He's like walking a cheetah down 42nd Street, and while his body is impressive, I mean, look, I just finished listening to his audiobook. I just finished his documentary on Netflix, and his mindset is even more impressive, and his thought process on things. And one thing, when I first started working out, I ended up, two of the first, outside of supplements and all the other malarkey, two of the first things I bought was the New Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was a book about that thick. I think I still have it somewhere around here. And I read through that and just absorbed every bit of knowledge I could. But I also bought the Pumping Iron DVD, and I was like, wow, this man, I knew him as Terminator, and I knew he was a bodybuilder, but I knew him as Terminator before that. And I'm like, this man won, I want to say it was 7 Mr. Olympia titles. You can correct me in the comments or whatever we got to do here. I might be wrong. It might be 8. I think it was 7. We won't bat that brain battle right now. But, if you watch that movie, and there's a great little YouTube video, I could probably, if I remember, link that in the comments. If you watch that movie, there's this part where he's talking about, even if Lou Ferrigno, another monster, Lou comes in better condition, more definition. If Lou looks better that day, if Lou, everything, if Lou could beat me, like, I'm going to spend with him one night in the hotel room. He says, I would book us together in a room to help him for tomorrow's contest. And that night he will never forget. And he talks about just talking Lou into losing. So that was one of the things I absorbed, like, early on in my journey. It was like, I'm not the biggest cat out here. I'm not the biggest dude. I'm not the strongest dude. I'm getting started, and I'm the weak link. Let's make people think I'm a little crazy. I need something. I need something working for me in this place. So, super intimidated in the gym. I'm like, well, my thing is going to be making people think I'm a little Looney Tune, that it's got a couple screws loose. You don't want to mess with this dude. And I mean, one of the reasons I joined the gym was because I got my butt kicked by 4 guys in a bar with pool cues. So I'm like trying to reinvent myself at that point in time. And I'm like, I want to make people think I'm a little crazy. Like, you do not want to mess with this cat. And I don't think I ever let that go. And I think I just constantly carried that, like, we're going to be a little Looney Tunes. Ain't messing with him today. And whatever. Stupid in hindsight. But we also look at, like, David Goggins, one of my other inspirations in health and fitness and just mindset. And Goggins talks about, breaking a person's soul. He doesn't say a person, breaking a something soul. You can guess what he said. But he wants to break the soul of a human being, of an object, of anything in his way. He wants you to know he's an unstoppable force. He wants you to take one look at him and know that you're going to lose. Like, look at me. Good luck. Like, and you're not even going to want to get into a fight with this guy because he just gives off that aura. You get into a fight with him, one of you is dying, and it's not going to be him. That's the aura he gives off. And I listened to his stuff very early on in my fitness journey, and I think I just absorbed. And I'm like, yeah, you're messing with the wrong one. You want to let's. And I'm a teddy bear. Like, look, I'm sitting here with a Pomeranian on my lap right now. I'm a freaking teddy bear. But I started thinking, like, man, I'm carrying I'm carrying this look with me. And I'm giving off this aura. And I'm giving off this vibe. And it's not the right vibe to be given off. Like, we need to be welcoming in fitness. We need to be welcoming in health. Like, there are so many people scared to get started. And, we're digging deeper. Started thinking again. I'm like, my wife, and we hear and we don't often listen. But my wife, she's an angel. She's like, that's why I don't like working out with you. You always look pissed off. Like, you're too in the zone. Like, you always look you better start. And I'm like, it's just my mindset. Like, I'm trying to prepare for battle, not with anybody else. Just prepare for battle with the weights. Prepare for battle with that little voice inside that's telling me I can't do it. Because that little voice, he comes from years and years of not being a fit person, not being a healthy person. I was called bitch tits growing up. I kept the shirt on in the pool, the white shirt. And we've talked about this before. I kept the white shirt on in the pool. I was embarrassed of how I looked. And I'm embarrassed now by how I felt and how I let that take over my mind. And, I was the last kid to finish a mile. I was in I think it was high school when they made you run the mile. I was always the last kid who finished that mile. I was always the kid who was trying to be sick on gym whatever physical fitness test day. I never got the pull up done in school. Now I can do a pull up with 345-pound plates strapped to me. But I mean, not to brag, but sit ups. I was dying. I couldn't do a push up. The only sport I was ever good at for a very small period of time in school was wrestling, and that's because I was just able to use my size and my frustration and my anger to overpower people. It wasn't any of the strength that I had. It was just me using that sheer heavy kid size. So, I take that, and I not that I have any current, fights with that, any battles, but I try to tap into it. I'm lifting for that kid who was picked on. I'm lifting for the kid who was pushed. I'm lifting to prove to myself that I'm not that weak kid anymore. Like, look, it's still 38 years old, and I still just try to tap into it. Say, look what you're capable of. You just lifted 400 pounds off the floor. Like, not everybody can do that. Like, imagine if you had never started. Imagine if you had never walked through those doors. And, this is where all these thoughts are happening in a 22-hour span. So I want to say 22 hours because we had this conversation. It was about 22 hours till I headed back to the gym and started my next workout. And that's when I tried to, I changed things around a little bit. And first thing I changed, I didn't start with any angry music. The night before, I was actually diving on my computer. I found a video of myself skydiving, and I timed it up. I made a little reel of it, and I linked it up to Learn to Fly by Foo Fighters. And that song, like, it's just beautiful. Like, the whole song, top to bottom, beautiful song. And seeing me skydiving, seeing me do something that I was also terrified, absolutely terrified of, listening to this song, I was like, it just amped me up. So I threw on Learn to Fly, and I listened to it for about 20 minutes on repeat while I'm doing my cardio. And this time I had a smile on my face. So I got a smile on my face. I'm feeling real good. And I was just like, let's bring this smile. Let's bring this smile around. And I'm like, now I'm walking around the gym like this. And I got a shit-eating grin on my face. I got this grin on my face. And I probably, to other people, looked like a crazy, arrogant lunatic because I'm all pumped up. I'm like, yes, we're doing bicep curls. Yes. And, it is what it is, but it felt good. The dopamine was flowing, and I was smiling. I'm like, bro, you love this. You love this sport. Like, put a smile on your face every time you walk through these doors. Why? Because you're blessed to be able to walk into the doors every day. You're blessed to be in here. You're blessed that people will come up to you in this gym, and you're the guy they ask for advice, not the personal trainers. You know how to mind what that feels like when somebody's like, man, what do I got to do to look like? And I'm like, and we'll jump into that, but it feels so good, and it just put a smile on my face. And I'm like, so today as well, not just yesterday, but today as well, I took that mentality into the gym with me, and I put a smile on my face. And I'm like, man, we're fortunate to be here. We're fortunate to be above ground. We're fortunate to have a roof over our head and be able to do what we love every day and help people on this journey and give them guidance. Like, there's so many people that don't know what to do in health and fitness. If you can give them one thing, to make their day, to guide them just a little bit, like, you've helped change one life. And I'm on a mission, being what I've been doing for the past 7 years. I think I ran a guesstimate number. Just, I've coached 8,000 classes, and classes generally have 15 to 20 people. And I'm like, I've helped about like 100,000, something like, I don't know. I ran the numbers. I was like, I've helped this many people in 7 years. I'm on a mission to help 1 million people on this because I love it. If I can help you live a little longer, feel a little better, and you know what? Side bonus, look a little better. That is it for me. That is going to amp me up, ramp me up, and jack me up like no else. So I have no reason not to have a smile on my freaking face. Plus, I got a smoking hot wife. I got an awesome dog. Like, life is good. Life is good. Life is great. So, jumping back to the root of all of this, the root of all this is there's going to be a lot of people walking into the gym terrified. January 1st, January 2nd, the entire month of January. Specials are going to come out. They're not going to know what to do. They're going to walk on the treadmill. They're going to look around. They're going to be confused. And they're going to be scared. And it's going to suck for them a lot. And they're probably going to quit. But maybe, just maybe, if someone like you or someone like me walks up and just tells them, keep going, keep pushing, it's not an overnight thing. I've been doing this for 16 years now, 17 years now. I've been in this game for 16 or 17 years. It's not an overnight thing. It takes time. It takes effort. But it'll be the best time you ever spent. It's the best investment in yourself. You know, I have kids and stuff. Do it for your kids. Do it so you can live a little longer. And, you know, just tell them to keep pushing. Keep going. Keep challenging yourself. You putting those feet through the door today is an accomplishment in itself. Because that might be the little push they need to come in tomorrow. And I remember this very clearly. I was once that scared kid. So we talked about I got my butt kicked in a bar. The next day I started looking up gyms. I'm also an idiot. So my dad had a gym in his house, but I wasn't motivated to work out at home. I didn't want to bother my dad, who had been trying to get me into this sport for my entire youth, my entire adolescence. I didn't want to trouble him. And now I can talk fitness and health with him for hours on end. So I'm a little dumb, but you know, I got my butt kicked. I said, I got to sign up for a gym. I got to at least be able to defend myself. And that's how I started. Just in an effort to not be a lanky, chubby kid who comes home with black eyes. And signed up for the gym online, 7-day pass. I pulled in. I watched people get out of their cars. Big people, small people. In shape people, out of shape people. Circled around the parking lot again. Parked again. Sat for 20 minutes. Got an anxiety attack. Drove home. Parents asked me, how was the gym? Oh, it was good. I just checked everything out. Really, it's all good. Went up to my room. Like, I don't know if I could do this. And then my 7 days was expiring. So I went back on that last day. And I was like, dude, just go in there. I met the guy. He walked me around. He showed, this is our fitness floor. This is our cardio zone. This is where we hold Zumba classes. And we have a sauna. We have a steam room, New York Sports Club. And I'm like, well, this seems pretty cool. I don't know how to use any of this stuff, but this seems pretty cool. I went in. I walked on the treadmill, 20 minutes, watching, not knowing what to do. Still scared. Still shaking. Nervous as all hell. And as I'm on my way out and I'm ready to dodge for that door, Lance, and any of you that grew up in Danbury, Connecticut, you probably knew this guy. He was a bouncer at like all the bars. Big, jack guy. Barely, not much of a neck on him, but he was jacked up. And he's like, all right, come on into the office. Let's talk about it. How did you like it? And amazing salesperson, because he did all the talking and I did all of the signing. Oh, my God. Hey, Google, turn those living room lights on. Living room lights decided to turn themselves off, but we'll sit in the dark for a little bit. That's kind of crazy. Let's hope the third one doesn't go off. But he did all the talking. I did all the signing. I was in. I joined up and kept going for a month walking on that treadmill. Then I started watching what other people were doing. And one day, I'm doing tricep extensions, I want to say it was. And a young Brazilian guy comes up to me and he's like, hey, can I just show you something? If you keep your elbow here, this is what you're going for on that movement. And I was like, thank you. And then I just started watching him and I adopted his workout routine. And then I adopted somebody else's workout routine. And then I adopted somebody else's workout routine. And I just kept going and I just kept going and I kept doing what these other people were doing and following their lead. And I found myself getting stronger and I found myself lifting heavier. And I was like, well, this is pretty cool. I'm feeling good. Here we are 17 years later and I'm feeling great. and I love it, and it's my job and it's my career. So, be welcoming, help somebody along in their journey, amp them up, ramp them up, get going, and I'll leave you with one last thing. And I get approached all the time, and it's like, hey, what would you young guys, 17, 18 years old, like, man, what do you do to look like that? And I'm like, number one, be consistent. Start with consistency. Like, just go almost every day. Give yourself 2 days of rest, 1 day of rest, maybe 3, but go. Just go. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Take Saturday and Sunday off. You're young. Enjoy life. But make it a habit. Make it a consistent habit. Get out there and do the darn thing. Number two, eat right. Eat right. There's so much garbage out there. Your nutrition has such a huge factor. I spent the first 5 years lifting the weights, not losing the weight. So your nutrition is such a huge part on this journey. If you want to look, you don't have to look like me, but if you want to look better, you better put a focus on nutrition. Number 3, I used to listen. I told you about Goggins. I told you about Schwarzenegger. I used to listen to Eric Thomas. I want to say he's the one that did How Bad Do You Want It? Love How Bad Do You Want It? You can search for it on YouTube. But, it used to amp me up. It still amps me up. But he talks about, no sleep, no days off, no rest days. You need that stuff. That's when your body rebuilds. That's when you release the good hormones. You got to sleep, guys. Get some rest, recover, and come back and do it again. Number 4, make sure you're constantly challenging yourself. So I see people, and these are people I've seen in group fitness for years that lift the same weights. 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps, 20 pounds for years. You have to challenge your muscle if you're going to change your muscle. So take that. And number 5, most important, is fail forward. Fail again, but never stay on the ground. Get back up, get back going. I want to say 7 years ago, I tore my distal tendon. Tore my left biceps distal tendon, and I beat the mental crap out of myself. I said, I'm never going to work out again. And I was miserable. For maybe 2 hours after the surgery. I was a little doped up. 2 hours after the surgery, all night, couldn't sleep, can't work out tomorrow. My mom had flown down to take care of me, and I disappeared about 7 o'clock that morning. She goes, where the hell did you go? She goes, do not tell me. And I'm like, I went to the gym. They told you not to work out for 3 months. And I said, well, yeah, I tore my bicep, so I did legs. So I used the leg press, I used the leg extension, I used the leg curl, I used a hack squat machine, and I worked out my legs. 6 months after the surgery, I had dinosaur legs, and I stopped being called chicken legs. So that was nice. It got me out of my wheelhouse and got me out of my upper body bro splits. Another time I dislocated my shoulder, I beat myself up for a day. And went and worked out the left side of my body the next day. My third big failure was 60 days into my job as a fitness coach. So I quit almost 10 years in logistics, supply chain logistics, to pursue my passion. 60 days in, I was told, I'm just not getting it. It was group fitness. You're just not getting our product, the brand. The classes are a mess. You got about 29 days because we're going to get ready at your 90-day mark, right before your 90-day mark review. And I was heartbroken. Left, super upset. Went and took as many classes as I could. Within 30 days, my class numbers, my members coming in were all improving. I was bringing more guests in. I went to having one of the highest utilizations. I had the highest amount of members in my classes over the course of the next few months. 2 years later, I was promoted to the head coach of a studio. 3 years after that, I was given the reign over 2 studios. Another year after that, I was overseeing 4 studios. Today, I oversee 12 different locations on the fitness side. So had I kept beating myself up, I would probably not be here today doing fitness. But here I am. So fall forward, get up, wipe the dust off, put a smile on your face, and kick some butt. With that, again, we're going into January. Be nice to people. Welcome people to the gym. Do not gym intimidate them. Do not be that bro that they don't want to work out with. This is scary for a lot of people, but we're in this sport because it makes our health better and our lives better, and we should want that for everybody. We should want that for every single person on this planet, is to help them get healthier, stronger, faster, better, and give some good advice. Tell them to keep going. That is our duty as the veterans in this sport and in all of this. So, just motivate somebody, keep them going, keep them in the game. And with that, if you like this, make sure you subscribe up here on YouTube. I think my little boomy boom is going to pop up here. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Join my Facebook page, the Fat Loss Blueprint for Overworked Professionals, if you're not on there already. Like I said, I'm on a mission to help 1 million people in my lifetime. That's the arbitrary number. I think that will leave me leaving this earth feeling fulfilled. I've done a lot of bad things, and helping 1 million people is going to make me feel a lot better about that. So make sure to get in that group. If you're in there, I want you to check out the show notes. Check out the show notes. You'll get a link to my Facebook group. Jump on in there. Lastly, because we're going to the new year, January 1st, I'm going to be giving out 6 months of one-on-one coaching, nutrition, fitness, mindset. We're talking weekly meetings with me so I can walk you through this journey. I can hold your hand. Starting on January 1st, we will go for 6 months. You do not pay me a dime. A dime. All you got to do is put your name in the hat, put your name in the bucket, see if you win. I'll have the link to that down in the show notes. Don't miss out on that. I don't do it often. It's a $6,000 value, so do not miss out on that. And I really hope you win. If not, if you know somebody that might want to play, might want a shot at it, put their name in the hat. Because you know what? We're out here to help people. So keep helping people. Let's be better people, and let's change the world.